Have you ever wondered who has the better migration policy, Trump or Biden? It's a question that has sparked countless debates, countless hours of news coverage, and has been at the forefront of many people's minds. Migration policy, it's a hot topic, isn't it? And it's more than just a political battleground. It's a matter that deeply impacts lives, economies, and societies. Migration policy is the framework that guides how a country manages the flow of people across its borders. It defines who can enter, who can stay, and under what conditions. These policies are crucial because they shape the demographic makeup of a nation, influence its economy, and can even affect international relations. Now, why is this so controversial? Well, different people have different views on how open or restrictive these policies should be. Some believe in open borders, allowing people to move freely in search of better opportunities. Others argue for stricter controls to protect jobs and maintain social cohesion. The balance is delicate and the stakes are high. The president, as the chief executive, plays a significant role in shaping these policies. They set the tone, propose new legislation, and can use executive orders to change the rules. The president's stance on migration can sway public opinion, impact elections, and determine the fate of millions of people looking to call America their home. In recent years, few topics have been as divisive as the migration policies of President Trump and President Biden. Both leaders brought distinct visions to the table, visions that reflected their beliefs, their party's stance, and the promises they made to their voters. So, who's got the better migration policy, Trump or Biden? It's a question that requires a deep dive into the specifics of their policies, an understanding of the context in which they were implemented, and a careful analysis of their impacts. Keep watching as we delve into the specifics of Trump and Biden's migration policies. From border walls to dreamers, from travel bans to refugee admissions, we'll dissect it all, helping you form your own informed opinion on this hotly debated topic. First, we tackle the policies of the 45th president, Donald Trump. His tenure from 2017 to 2021 was marked by significant changes in migration policy, stirring both praise and criticism. One of the most controversial was the zero-tolerance policy, implemented in 2018. The policy aimed to prosecute all adults illegally crossing the border, leading to the separation of families as children couldn't be held in federal jail. While the administration argued it served as a deterrent, critics saw it as inhumane and damaging. Next, let's discuss the travel ban, officially known as Executive Order 13769, issued within his first 10 days in office. This policy restricted entry from 7, primarily Muslim countries. The administration defended the move as necessary for national security, while detractors labeled it as discriminatory. Trump also made substantial changes to the asylum system. Under his administration, the Migrant Protection Protocols, also known as the Remain in Mexico policy, was enacted. This policy required asylum seekers to wait in Mexico while their claims were processed in the U.S. courts. The intention was to manage the flow of people at the border and discourage fraudulent asylum claims. However, critics argued it put vulnerable individuals at risk. Throughout Trump's presidency, the number of annual refugee admissions was cut by over 80%. In his final year in office, the cap was set at 15,000, the lowest since the Refugee Act was passed in 1980. Supporters saw this as a move to prioritize domestic issues, while critics viewed it as a disregard for America's humanitarian responsibilities. In summary, Trump's migration policies were characterized by a strong stance against illegal immigration and a focus on national security. His policies sparked debates around their humanitarian implications and their impact on America's identity as a nation of immigrants. Trump's approach to migration policy was tough and sparked a lot of debates, but how does it compare to Biden's? Now, we shift our focus to the 46th president, Joe Biden. Biden's migration policies have been marked by a distinct departure from his predecessor's approach. His administration has sought to reverse many of the policies set by Trump with a focus on creating a more humane and compassionate system. One of the key aspects of Biden's approach has been the expansion of refugee admissions. In stark contrast to the previous administration, which capped refugee admissions at its lowest level in decades, Biden has pledged to increase the annual refugee admissions cap to 125,000, effectively quadrupling it. This reflects Biden's commitment to uphold America's legacy as a place of refuge for those fleeing persecution and conflict. Biden has also sought to address the root causes of migration, particularly from Central America. His administration has proposed a 4-year, $4 billion plan to address underlying issues such as violence, corruption, and poverty in the region. The idea is that by tackling these root causes, the number of people compelled to migrate to the U.S. in search of better opportunities would decrease. Furthermore, Biden has taken steps to reverse Trump's Remain in Mexico policy, which required asylum seekers to wait in Mexico while their cases were processed in the U.S. courts. Biden's administration has argued that this policy did not align with the country's commitment to human rights and has begun the process of unwinding it. However, it's important to note that while Biden's policies may be more compassionate on paper, they have also faced criticism. Some argue that by relaxing restrictions, his administration may be encouraging illegal immigration and straining resources at the border. Biden's approach to migration policy is drastically different from Trump's, but which is more effective. Now that we have the facts, it's time to compare Trump and Biden's migration policies. Starting with Donald Trump, his administration was marked by a hardline stance on immigration. The former president sought to curb both legal and illegal immigration, citing national security and economic concerns. His signature policy, the construction of a border wall with Mexico, was a controversial one, with critics arguing it was an ineffective and costly solution. His zero-tolerance policy, which led to family separations at the border, was widely criticized and eventually ended in court. Despite these controversies, Trump's policies had their supporters, who praised his commitment to enforcing immigration laws and protecting American jobs. On the other hand, President Biden took a decidedly different approach. His administration has sought to roll back many of Trump's policies, arguing they were inhumane and damaging to America's reputation. Biden has sought to increase legal immigration, including by raising the annual refugee cap, which had been drastically reduced under Trump. He has also moved to end the Remain in Mexico policy, which required asylum seekers to stay in Mexico while their claims were processed. However, these moves have not been without criticism. Some argue that Biden's policies have led to a surge in illegal border crossings, straining resources and creating a humanitarian crisis. So, how do these two approaches stack up against each other? In terms of effectiveness, it's a mixed bag. While Trump's policies did see a decrease in illegal border crossings, they were also marked by legal challenges and human rights concerns. Biden's policies, meanwhile, have yet to fully show their impact, with border crossings currently at a high. Public reception of these policies is deeply divided, often along party lines. Many conservatives appreciated Trump's tough stance, while liberals have largely supported Biden's more compassionate approach. However, there is also a significant number of Americans who feel that neither policy fully addresses the complexities of immigration. Both presidents have their unique approach to migration policy, but the question remains, who's got the better one? We've explored the policies, compared them, but what's the verdict? As we've seen, the migration policies of both Trump and Biden have their own distinct characteristics. Trump's approach was largely defined by a more stringent stance. His administration advocated for tighter border controls and a merit-based immigration system. The aim was to prioritize the entry of immigrants who would contribute to the American economy while maintaining national security. On the other hand, Biden's policy has championed a more inclusive approach. His administration has focused on providing a pathway to citizenship for millions of undocumented immigrants residing in the United States. They've also aimed to roll back some of the more restrictive measures implemented under Trump, advocating for a more humane approach to border control. Despite these differences, there are also areas of agreement. Both administrations recognize the necessity of strong border controls to maintain national security. They also agree on the importance of attracting skilled immigrants who can contribute to the American economy. The impacts of these policies are far-reaching. The policies implemented under Trump led to a decrease in illegal border crossings, but also sparked controversy due to their restrictive nature. Meanwhile, Biden's approach, while more inclusive, has faced criticism from those who argue it could potentially lead to an increase in illegal immigration. It's important to remember that these policies don't exist in a vacuum. They're shaped by a myriad of factors, from domestic politics to international relations, from economic considerations to humanitarian concerns. Migration policies, therefore, are a balancing act, striving to reconcile these often competing interests. The conversation around migration is complex and ever-evolving. It's a topic that elicits strong opinions and passionate debates, and it's through these debates that we, as a society, can shape the policies that best reflect our values and aspirations. No matter who you think has the better policy, the importance of informed debate in shaping our migration policies cannot be understated. So, let's ask you, who do you think has the best migration policy, Joe Biden or Donald Trump? Let's know in the comments section.